got that swing. Glasses clink, hear the ice cubes sing. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie. Jacen dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for the day. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Salut and welcome. Good to see all of you. A bunch of you already here in the chat, so appreciate all of you. Well, this is the midway point of the week. This is Wednesday, which I have dubbed WTF Wednesday. Saw something that I wanted to touch base on, and of course that led me into a couple of other articles. I know that Mark Malnikoff is not going to be here today, taking his beautiful wife to the doctor, having a procedure taken care of that they had planned for a while. Let's just hope everything's good. Prayers and thoughts for Julie today, but Mark would really appreciate the message today because he has been working the hashtag Defund Disney, and we're going to say WTF Disney. You're kind of reaping what you sow here. We'll talk about that in a minute, but first I want to talk about you wonderful people that are here. Starting with Big Al. Big Al presents. He says, "May have a great show. May miss some getting a new refrigerator put in." And I say, stay cool. Big Al presents. See, fridge. Not to mention the summer heat where you're at. Jonathan Conroy says, "Hail and smash the like button and enjoy the show." Yes, please do. Please do enjoy the show. And smashing that like button would make me very, very happy. The always super generous and super, super nice Ruby Hoove stops by to gift a membership. She gifted that membership to Tony, the Stark of Iron. Welcome to membership, Mr. Stark. let's see here. Last call with Troy Pacelli. Hello, love of my life. Hello, love of my life. Netter of Netters Network. Always wonderful to have you here. Literally here in my house with me. You are wonderful. And yes, Ruby Hoove, like I was saying, I hope all your friends and family are doing okay with that flooding that you were having near you. She's up on the north end of town, but down on the south end of town, there was a bunch of flooding yesterday. So I was expressing, I hope everything is going well over there. Like, share, subscribe, become a member. Yes, please do that thing. And Ruby says things are drying up, so all is good. Good. I am so glad to hear that. Matanui says, hi. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. And Ruby Hoove sending out prayers for Julie. Thank you so much. Welcome, Bo. Good to see you. Thank you for being here today. And Jada, channel member, says, happy Wednesday, folks. Yes, happy Wednesday to you as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. I will take a break every now and again when I see somebody new come into the chat, because I certainly don't want to miss the opportunity to say hi to everyone. Orange flavored vodka for liquid lunch. Cheers. That sounds wonderful. Could be very refreshing. I don't know too much about specific brands of flavored and infused vodkas. I know they do tend to do them differently. For example, and I don't know which is which, but I know that some vodka oranges are infused more with the lemon peel, the zest. Others are infused more with a fruit juice. So I'm wondering which one yours might be. I do, when I choose to take the time to do it, I tend to infuse my own vodka. You have Seagram's. I love Seagram's as a brand just because I am a huge Bruce Willis fan, and they had those wine cooler commercials back in the 80s. Seagram's golden wine coolers. They're wet and they're dry. My. Yeah, I love Seagram's just because of Bruce Willis. Wilkie's Movies and Music stops in to say, hey, all, good to see you. Good to see you. Awesome. So let's go ahead and get to, there it is. So this article is linked below. I do have a couple other articles. I will link them below after the stream because I decided on bringing them up after I'd already gotten ready to go live. So this comes from That Park Place, and if you are not a subscriber to That Park Place, you see right over here, you know, right at the end of this bar where my finger's at, it says Pro. You go ahead and you click on that, and you get a little subscription to them on their, I think it's it's a Patreon platform. I am, but because of that, I don't want to breach their paywall. But I am going to bring you this premium article, at least the part that's public facing, which is to look at the what's it called? What do they call these things? The banner, the title, I suppose. Disney employees hit with 5th round of layoffs in the last year, while Bob Iger gets a 30% pay raise. That's amazing. So we talk about layoffs at Disney from time to time, but it takes a title like this to kind of put it in perspective. 5 rounds of layoff in 1 year. That doesn't bode well for the health of a company, does it? And as I was saying, Mark's not going to be here today, but he is the one who is really pushing that hashtag defund Disney. Well, I've been saying Disney is essentially doing that themselves. And I mean, I hate to sound anti-corporatist because let's face it, I do consider myself to be something of a capitalist, not, overly so, not way, ridiculously in that camp, but, everybody wants to be rich, wants to support the corporate mentality to some degree, I suppose. And in this instance, I look at this and I go, this is kind of what's wrong with corporate America, right? I see that a company is clearly failing. There's no doubt about it. And the CEO thinks he's entitled to a 30% raise. Why? What did you do that you can justify that? I feel like the company's, essentially dying here. It's ridiculous. It really is. Let's get into what of the article we can actually look at here. The Walt Disney Company has an... Oh, wait. To be honest, I don't really care to be rich, even if I had a chance to be. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. I see wealth as a safety net. Having it and not needing it is better than needing it and not having it. That's my take on wealth. And you never know what's going to happen in the future. It's easy to not worry about wealth when you're young. The older you get, the more you get concerned about how am I going to continue to pay for my my utilities and the roof over my head, and especially health insurance or just healthcare in general, So I get you. The Walt Disney Company has announced its 5th round of layoffs in 2025. So that makes it very clear, because back here, layoffs in the last year, they could have been talking about 2024. No, they're saying just since the beginning of the year, there have been 5 rounds of layoffs, continuing a pattern of deep cuts across the entertainment giant. The latest reductions have struck the entertainment and ESPN product and technology divisions, where less than 2% of the workforce was reportedly let go. Disney referred to the move as a rebalancing of resources, despite it following 4 other major staff reductions in the last 8 months. But what makes this round especially controversial is what happened earlier this year, and of course that being, the fact that the CEO thinks that he can just take a pay rise because he's so very special. The article, of course, is a premium article, so become a VIP member. And I would encourage you to do that. That is how I stay so up to date on what's going on in the entertainment industry. But let's take a look at the recent hits or lack thereof in regards to the Disney Corporation, right? So we've talked about their Disney Plus model and how streaming is ultimately a money-losing venture, right? Even with the recent addition of advertisements, during their shows and whatnot, which basically turns streaming into just a new version of network television / cable, they're still losing money. They've already saturated the market. There are too many companies out there offering too many streaming services, and people have to budget, Those people that, aren't concerned about wealth only have so much to go around and, can only partake of so many, various streaming services. And Disney is not in the top of them. People are, finding that the content on Disney is not worth it to them and their families to subscribe to. So they're not even in the top 5 streaming services at this point. So that hurts Disney. And when you hit a certain point, you're at homeostasis. What I mean by that is everyone who is going to subscribe to any service is already doing so. So you've saturated the market. You can't get more people coming in. So whatever, you've maxed out your monthly revenue from subscribers. So where are you going to get more money from? You're not. There's no way to be more successful. It's only a downhill slide from there. And I do feel that Disney is demonstrating that downhill slide. So I did watch, those of you that have been following me know that a week ago today, I was on Doomcock's Pop Culture Breakdown, and part of doing that to prepare for the show and what we were talking about as a panel was to watch the first 3 episodes of this POS show, which I did, and I did not enjoy it. I felt like the main character in Clockwork Orange, you know, with my eyes being held open, being forced to watch it and screaming, no! But I watched it so that I could give a commentary, and I could tell you it was not good. I can also tell you that unlike much of the MCU in phases 4, 5, 6, whatever they're on now, they were very faithful to the source material. It's just that they chose a source material from an era of comics that nobody liked. The all new, all different MCU. So they were very faithful to it. Anyway, we'll get back to that. Let's get to the article and see what the article is saying about episodes 4 through 6. That's all there were. That's a whole season to Disney. 6 episodes. Ironheart's episode 4 to 6, final review. It got so much worse. It was bad. It was bad to begin with. I will be interested to see what Marvin Montanaro says about how bad it is. I will say something about Martin Montanaro. He is an excellent writer. He really is. Not only do I, refer to the prose style that I'm seeing here in that Park Place, and his contributions on WDW Pro and his own channel, but he's also an accomplished author in his own right. He knows how to write. He even did a panel at a convention that I attended talking about writing in general. I know he's a sharp guy, and he knows what he's talking about. All right, kids, buckle up. It's time for an Ironheart final review. Oh, I'm sorry, finale review. I misread that. If you thought the first 3 episodes of Ironheart were bad, buckle up. Somehow Marvel managed to dig even deeper into the well of awful. The final 3 episodes of Ironheart don't just continue the disaster, they accelerate it, hurling the show off a cliff of lazy writing, nonsensical tech, virtue signaling, and a complete disregard for logic or consequence. This is not a show. This is a slow-motion implosion of the Marvel creative spirit. Yeah, I can see that. All the same problems from the early episodes you're still here. The writing is stale, stuffed with dialogue that sounds like it's pulled from middle school creative writing intro class. The main character, Riri Williams, is still entirely unlikable. If anything, she's worse in the back half of the season. There's no character growth, no reckoning, no redemption. Just more smugness, more entitlement, and more proof that the creative team had no idea how to write a hero or a character with any redeeming qualities of any kind. Yeah. I talked about it here on Liquid Lunch. I definitely talked about it on Doomcock's channel. That Riri Williams is not a hero. She is a villain. And Disney doesn't know the difference. They want to soften all their villains. They want to demonstrate by doing movies specifically about their villains and creating a whole area of their park dedicated to villains, how they're misunderstood and it's not their fault. And they're actually the good guys if you want to look at it that way. I don't, but Disney does. And after WandaVision, which up to a point I really enjoyed, then when I saw where it was going and I saw how it ended, I'm like, this woman is a monster. She is not a hero. Now, I also happen to know from the comics that Wanda, right, the Scarlet Witch, like many of the X-Men characters, did have a history of going back and forth. Villain, hero, right? Very morally ambiguous. So it's not outside of canon for Wanda to be a villain, but to have the hero of your show be a villain, literally victimizing a whole town, mentally, I don't want to use words that will get this channel demonetized, but mentally causing harm and abusing people, that is not a hero, that is a villain. That is a villain. And this character, this character here is absolutely a villain. Howdy, working and listening, Maria. Great. Get over to Maria's channel. She, I don't remember if it was last night or the night before, she just released a new song. You should go check out her channel. She's got some really, really great stuff over there. So let me get back to this this villain they're touting as a hero. Riri's criminal friends turn on her. No honor among thieves, I guess. And we're supposed to feel bad, but this is just karma on a platter. She lied, manipulated, used people, and now the consequences have arrived. Characters tell her flat out that she's selfish and wrong, which the audience already knew. And when it's coming from your villain characters, that's saying something. But Riri never truly owns it. She doesn't evolve. She doesn't reflect. She simply powers through with the same arrogant attitude, insisting she's in the right. Matanui says, to me, the problem is more that they tried to act like it wasn't her fault at the end. I had no problem with her being the villain. You're right. No. You're absolutely right. If they embraced that, and they had literally, made it clear, she's a villain, and going into Multiverse of Madness, made it expressly clear that the Sorcerer Supreme was coming out and gonna stomp her down because she was a villain and bring her to justice, I'd have been like, there you go. That's a good storytelling thing. In fact, I would even say that this whole idea of I tuned into a show thinking I was watching a show about a superhero, only to find out by the end I was watching an origin story for a supervillain. But then I see there's a payoff coming up. I go, okay, yeah, you subverted my expectations in a good way. But that is not what they did. That's not what they did. And I guess I got a little ahead of Matanui because he went on with, but then they said, they'll never know what you sacrificed for them. That was where I had an issue. What sacrifice? They were begging for her to let them die. Yeah, she victimized a town so much, tortured them so much. She's like, what's her name? The mom from that 70s shows. Just let us die already. That's how much she victimized them. And for what? So she could maintain the illusion that she had brought her dead android husband back to life, and they had kids together. It was all a fantasy. She was creating the effectively an AI reality for herself, and she was torturing a town to do it. What did she sacrifice? What did she sacrifice? Anyway, let's get back to this. Then comes a baffling action sequence where these gang members, who previously took down grown men with ease, get beaten by Riri without her armor. Oh my God. Oh my God. When we'd already demonstrated that she was useless without her armor. Even when she decides she wants to try breaking into this facility that has safeguards against technology, she still finds a way to hide some technology in some artificial skin because she can't do without technology. Not only does she magically win, but she scores multiple kill shots, and no one dies or even gets hurt. Slug, one of the thugs, literally survives a vehicle crash that should have turned anyone into pavement paste. But Slug just climbs out without a scratch, shrugs it off, and walks away. Real stakes, real danger, forget about it. And then, in a moment of pure script laziness, the Hood fires the gang. That's right, fires them. They just leave. No revenge arc, no comeback, no purpose. It's all as if the writers hit delete mid-season and hope no one would notice. What was even the point of these characters? Did they even have a point other than to be there for a beat-em-up henchman fight? Zeke Stain, the real victim. Yeah. So the fake Han Solo character, the beta male of the story. Spoiler, he's Obadiah Stain's son, Zeke. Great name. Zeke, the nerdy white guy Riri exploits for 3 episodes, ends up in jail thanks to her blackmail. She offers a lukewarm "my bad" and seems shocked when he's furious with her. He should be. She ruined his life. Zeke becomes a villain, sort of. After getting sprung from prison by the Hood, he gets turned into what can only be described as a bootleg ironmonger with electric powers. It's all very comic booky, which is not a negative in a comic book show. But the real joke is the pseudoscience used to control him. Apparently, Slug gets the Hood as the suit's admin during installation, and that gives him telepathic control. You heard right. A guy in a magic cloak becomes a Bluetooth mind controller because tech. Oh, boy. Zeke beats the brakes off Riri and destroys her armor, but lets her live. And honestly, he's the only character with a shred of humanity. Of course, the show wants us to see him as a bad guy, but in this twisted universe, he's the only one acting logically. If anything, he's on a revenge arc. Imagine if Kill Bill decided the bride was the villain and presented Bill as the misunderstood hero. Then, in the most ridiculous climax imaginable, Riri defeats Zeke by kicking him below the belt. Yup, after millions of dollars of upgrades, no one thought to give the guy an armored cup. That's your genius level battle plan. Wow, this sounds terrible. Powered by pure nonsense. Riri builds her final suit out of a car. Just any old car. Apparently, she skipped the entire Iron Man arc where Tony needed special alloys and power sources. Her new armor runs on magic. Literal black girl magic. Her mom conveniently knows a sorcerer from Kamar Taj, and her daughter, who wave their hands and zap the suit full of plot juice. The result, the Natalie AI vanishes for some reason, because magic has a price or something. So the one reasonably interesting character, the AI reconstruction of her best friend, is gone. Wonderful. Riri is momentarily upset, then shrugs it off and suits up. She tears the hood off the hood, makes him cry, and the show doesn't even bother explaining what happens to him, because at this point, who cares? You don't know how the magic integrates with the suit. We don't know how Riri controls it, given that she has no understanding of magic. Seriously, I put more thought into the Ironheart finale review than the creative team put into the whole show. Selling her soul, literally. I see this coming. Yeah. And then the grand finale of this Ironheart finale review, Mephisto appears. Yes! Sacha Baron Cohen makes his long-awaited debut as the literal devil. And what does Riri do? Does she fight him? Does she rise up to battle the ultimate evil and finally become a hero? Nah, she sells her soul to him. Literally. No big battle, no showdown, just straight up soul trade to bring back her dead best friend, Natalie. Some have tried to frame this as a heroic sacrifice akin to Tony Stark flying the nuke through the portal in Avengers or snapping his finger in Endgame. But let's be honest, it's a selfish act. Natalie was gone and had found peace. Her brother had moved on and processed his grief. Riri resurrected her because she couldn't let go. It's not courage, it's obsession. The only person who benefits from this Faustian bargain is Riri. And that's how it ends. No resolution, no meaning, no point. Yeah, this is exactly like what I had just gotten through talking about with Wanda Maximoff, right? Her sacrifice was giving up her AI-constructed perfect life with people that didn't exist. My gosh. It also makes me think of a much better written Back from the Dead story. Buffy. If those of you that were fans of that TV show, where she died and came back, her friends all brought her back, only for them to find out that, she wasn't dead in limbo. She wasn't dead in some hell dimension. She literally made it to heaven. And now she was effectively pulled out of heaven and stuck back in. Now she's in hell. Now being alive, she's in hell. Because she had been in heaven. Thanks a lot, guys. You know? Marvel's lowest point. There is no redeeming qualities here. The one potentially interesting performance, Sacha Baron Cohen's Mephisto, is wasted in this dumpster fire. The finale cements Ironheart as not just the worst Marvel show, but quite possibly the worst thing the MCU has ever produced. On the Pro show with WDW Pro, I was asked if this is as bad as the Star Wars flop The Acolyte. At the time, I hesitated. Now, no hesitation. Ironheart is worse. Much worse. Final verdict, 1 out of 10. Unwatchable, unredeemable, unforgivable. That's exactly what I was thinking too. I was thinking, more witchcraft. Let's throw some more witchcraft into our sci-fi and fantasy, right? This is just what we need. We got space witches in Star Wars. We got witches in Ironheart. Yeah. The show is a dumpster fire. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But let's take a look at the Disney parks now. Let's move to the Disney parks. Disney World summer crowds are already crashing, but the 4th of July and beyond may be much worse. Well, I'm, watching for the past year, 2 years or so, the decisions that they're making, they're pulling out some of the most popular attractions to replace them with junk that nobody cares about. The prices are going up, while what you get for your dollar is going down. The place is falling apart, sewage leaking from walls. Yeah, it is hardly the happiest place on earth any longer. Summer crowds aren't showing up to Walt Disney World this year, and it could get much worse very soon. Walt Disney World is facing one of the slowest summer seasons in recent history as a confluence of economic pressures, waning international tourism, and increased competition from rival theme parks continues to depress attendance. According to industry analysts and park watchers, the Disney World summer crowds that traditionally pack the Orlando resort have thinned significantly, and all signs point to an even steeper decline following the July 4th holiday. Data gathered by crowd tracking service Touring Plans reveals that average wait times at Disney World are down considerably compared to pre-pandemic years. For example, early 2025 saw wait times that were nearly 50% lower than those recorded during the same period of 2017, which was considered a peak attendance year. These figures suggest fewer guests in the park, despite summer typically being one of the biggest seasons. In anecdotal reports shared on Reddit and other forums, guests have described the park as shockingly empty and cited low wait times, sparse crowds, and last-minute restaurant availability as clear signs that demand has softened. A Reddit poll asking users why they were skipping trips this year yielded consistent themes. Lingering economic uncertainty, Disney's rising prices, and lack of new attractions. Disney's aggressive pricing strategy appears to be contributing to an attendance slump. Ticket prices, food costs, and optional but encouraged Lightning Lane skip the line features have continued to rise. Let me pause right there. Why would anyone even bother with oh, thank you so much for reposting the stream. This is I can't even thank you enough. And Ella's over there on the X. And yeah, I don't have a lot of viewership on X, so I'm glad that you did. But it is this kind of support that that really does, more than anything else, it encourages me. I super appreciate that. But it's also the only way I'm going to be able to, reach out and grow this channel. So I thank you so much for that, Ella. You are absolutely wonderful. What was I saying? Because I actually... oh, yeah. What's the point of Lightning Lane when the attendance is so low? You don't need Lightning Lane. You just go to the line and boom, you're in. Because there's no one there in front of you. It's like you have the park to yourself. You don't need a reservation for the restaurant. You just show up and they're like, yeah, there's nobody here. We'll seat you, no problem. And yet the price for Lightning Lane is going up. Well, that's because demand is so damn low. With some facilities reporting vacation budgets stretched beyond comfort, a recent report from Disney Fanatic described this trend as Disney being addicted to price hikes, pushing out many middle-income visitors who once formed the backbone of summer attendance. Look, just a little basics of economics 101. There's this idea that you raise the minimum wage so that, everybody who's in the lowest earning level, is brought up. But unfortunately, when you do that, that has a direct impact on prices and, what people are going to be able to spend. And so the cost of living goes up. So now you've raised your minimum wage and it's benefited nobody. It's just increased prices overall for everybody and nothing changes. By the same token, you want to tax the rich more, so you increase the tax, and the people that can afford to go, I'm leaving, bye, and now suddenly you have no tax revenue, and things are worse. Same thing here. Oh, I'm not making enough money. I'm going to raise my... Let's just look at this channel, right? Many of you that are here are members of the channel. You guys are supporting this channel through your membership dollars, which I think are pretty reasonable. But let's say I said, you know what? I'm just not making enough money doing YouTube, so I'm going to double all of my memberships. Well, what would happen? You'd all go, yeah, I like you, Troy, but not that much. Quit. And then suddenly I'm making nothing. That's what Disney is doing here. That's basically what Disney is doing here. They're pricing themselves out of the market. We're not making enough money, so we raise our prices. Now we're making less. So we raise our prices some more, and we make even less. And you end up going bankrupt. My coworker is going to Universal, taking her granddaughter to Nintendo Land. Yeah, so we've a lot of the YouTubers behind the scenes we've been talking about, you know, because we all went to MegaCon last year, and we want to get together again for MegaCon. But instead of actually going to MegaCon, we've been talking about the possibility of instead getting a weekend pass to Universal and doing all of our meetups there. Not Disney, but Universal. Yeah, absolutely. Kind of actually looking forward to it. In fact, I had promised Netter when we were out there, because we did go to Universal for a couple of the late night special events in February, or was it March? I'm sorry, it was March. And we got to see what was coming to Universal, and I said, yeah, I'll bring you here, Netter. We'll take a day, and we'll spend a day at Harry Potter Land, and we'll take a day and we'll go to the Monsterverse and stuff. Definitely want to check that out. Dynamic pricing, resort fee increases, and the monetization of formerly free experiences have made the Disney vacation experience feel less accessible to a broad demographic. The continued perception that Disney's vacations are becoming a luxury offering may be hurting their ability to attract crowds during non-holiday periods. Yeah. So your average person is going, okay, this is a vacation for the rich elites. And the rich elites are going, yeah, no, this isn't worth, that. Even if I have the expendable income. My time is valuable too. Maybe I'd rather go to Universal. That's where I'd rather spend my week's vacation. Of course, we must also say that decisions like destroying Splash Mountain probably aren't helping with the more traditional crowd. Another factor contributing to the decline is sluggish international travel. While domestic tourism has seen modest recovery since the pandemic, international visitation to Disney World, especially from Canada, Europe, and Latin America, has not returned to pre-2020 levels. Rising airfare prices, currency fluctuations, and global travel concerns are keeping many overseas tourists away from Orlando this summer. And some people overseas are going, the overseas Disneys are better than the one in Florida, so why bother? In particular, a growing online trend of Canadian tourists boycotting U.S. travel due to political disagreements has been noted by some media outlets as a possible drag on attendance numbers. The launch of Universal's Epic Universe theme park in late May is also having a significant impact, featuring new attractions based on Nintendo's Mario franchise, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and How to Train Your Dragon. The park has become a major draw for both first-time tourists and seasoned theme park fans seeking something new. Nate. Geek Flag with Nate knows. Hey, everybody, Disney is ridiculous with their pricing. Now you have to make 6 figures just to go to Disneyland. That is ridiculous. Yeah, exactly right. And if you do make 6 figures, you go, well, I could go to Disney and blow all this money, or I could spend less money for something I would enjoy way more by going to Epic Universe. Analysts estimate that as many as 1 million guests who would have otherwise visited Disney World in 2025 may instead opt to explore Universal's expanded offerings. With no major new rides debuting at Disney this year, the contrast between the two resort giants is becoming increasingly apparent to vacationers weighing their options. And guess what? The announced rides coming to Disney down the road don't seem to really be going much either for excitement. The 4th of July holiday, typically a peak time for Disney attendance, may do little to reverse the downward trend. Last year's July 4th crowds were already lighter than expected, and early indicators suggest 2005 may follow suit. Theme park blogs report that average wait times on Independence Day have actually decreased compared to late June, and Disney's lack of blackout dates for annual pass holders this year may further dilute the crowd surge typically associated with the holidays. Moreover, while Disney continues to promote patriotic nighttime entertainment and exclusive fireworks shows, the lack of accompanying major events or new offerings appears to be limiting the holiday drawing power. Looking ahead to the rest of the summer, the outlook remains cautious. With no major new attractions opening on the calendar and guests increasingly sensitive to pricing, attendance is likely to remain soft throughout July and August. Economic headwinds such as interest rates and inflation continue to weigh on discretionary spending from many American households. Unless Disney makes significant adjustments to pricing or announces new guests' incentive, attendance may not rebound until Halloween or holiday season. Put a pin in that. A time when seasonal events traditionally lift visitation. I do not have any belief that there will be any sudden influx of people going to Disney World for Halloween. You know where they're going to go? They're going to go to Epic Universe, the Universal Monsterverse. That's where they're going to be going for Halloween. It's a no-brainer. It's as obvious as the big old Italian nose on my face. You know? Yeah. And speaking of this thing about significant adjustments, they're not going to have a choice. As attendance drops, they're going to have to start dropping their prices just to get people in the door. That is going to be the next step. It has to be. It's the next step before they pretty much freaking go bankrupt. The one exception, as we've covered before, the Disney World water parks are increasingly crowded this summer due to overly zealous promotions. So it makes me wonder how much they're spending on promotion, and is it being offset by how well they're doing? For now, the once booming summer crowds that defined Disney World for decades appears to be fading into memory, replaced by a quieter, more uncertain era of the world's most famous theme park resort. Nobody can blame consumers, but rather the poor decisions and planning by Disney executives. Like Bob Iger, who just took a 30% pay raise. Unfortunately, there's no end of that in the near future. What are you guys saying here? Disney really screwed up with Galaxy's Edge. That is very true. If they would have made Galaxy's Edge based on classic OG Star Wars, they would have had people still going there and making reservations years in advance. I can't disagree with you. Plus, Disney has a PR problem with a crap they pull like with Gina Carano and other social and political stances. They make people are just sick of them. Yeah, exactly. Remember, Bob said Disney was investing $60 billion in the parks last year. Yes, he did say that, but he also said that was going to be over a number of years. I'm not sure that they are going to last long enough to spend that $60 billion in the parks. Yeah, that is just terrible. And I saw that Mark did make it. Here I are, late but kapla. I hope Julie is doing well, Mark. And yes, I thought you would enjoy this particular topic because we are talking about Dismal Disney and how they are defunding themselves. But nonetheless, hashtag defund Disney. Well, that is WTF Wednesday for this week. Disney is a crap storm. They could go straight to hell. That's absolutely right, Mark. But that is the show for today. Nothing big going on tonight. Next on my docket is Liquid Lunch for tomorrow, same time, same channel. And of course, Netters Network tomorrow evening, where we may or may not have a guest. I'm leaning towards not. And we'll get a little bit of Netters Network channel update, and we'll go from there. As I mentioned before, last call this Friday is the third and final segment in our review of the films of 1985. There were so many. There were just so many. I mean, I'd be hard pressed to come up with enough films from the past couple of years to fill a whole show, and yet you can go back to 1985 and you can fill up 3 shows talking about those movies. Just amazing stuff. Saturday, we will be seeing another classic 80s movie, comedy, Dr. Detroit with Dan Aykroyd over on Netters Network. And that is the week in review, my friends. I thank you guys so much. As Netter said, please like, share, subscribe, become a member. Last night's Blake 7 made my brain ache. What a ride. Yeah. I like Tanith Lee, but maybe not so much as a Blake 7 writer. It was a good enough episode. It did give us a chance to see the bickering between Tarrant and Avon, and it did demonstrate Avon being a sharp thinker, but it was trippy. Not as trippy as Lost Highway, but nonetheless. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you all for hanging out with me for another Liquid Lunch. You guys all get back to work. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Salute.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
Here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.